Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday. People like to welcome you all to the show. I was recently listening to a lecture that was posted by Mosque 46 AV, and it was Sister Donna Farrakhan. And the message that I heard, I felt like was good for both male and female. And I'm gonna want to bring us up on this lecture so everyone can hear it. It's profound. I just really want to share knowledge with you all, and I hope you enjoy it. And sit back and listen, especially during these times. And we all know that Kanye is running for president, and he made a statement about Harriet Tubman. Supposedly, if she freed the slaves, she only freed them so they can go work for white folks. And I'm paraphrasing the statement, but he failed to realize that once she released them from a bondage of shackles and chains, and they weren't able to move around freely, once they was released from that, then they could go and work for someone. Some of them saved their monies and became entrepreneurs, and they moved and built generational wealth for their families. But you have to start somewhere. But although I understand his message for those today, is he saying that we're free, but why are we still working for white folks, and we're looking to white folks to provide food, clothing, shelter for us when we have the minds to do it for ourselves? So, twofold statement. But I want to bring you in on this lecture. I think it's profound, so I'm going to be quiet and sit back and let you all take it all in.
So therefore, he could have trust in them that they would follow his instruction and that they would carry out his word. There are several Marys in the Bible. But there's a Mary that I'd like to talk about a little today, and that is Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is like a prototype of the black woman in America. In the fact that many of us don't parallel ourselves with Mary Magdalene because we would like to think we are so much better. We can only be better than Mary Magdalene if we are honoring the wisdom of God, and if we are practicing the way of God. But if we don't put God at the head of our life, then we are not careful, females, about our choices, and we are not careful about our morals. As this world has degraded us, and we are following after the slave master and his daughter, instead of having high moral standards, our standards are those of a woman who may not have heard God at all. But the good side to that is that when Mary Magdalene met Jesus, she had a transition in her life. When she met the man of God and she heard him speak and watched him work among the people, she knew this time she had met a real man. See, Mary Magdalene couldn't have been the woman that she was if there wasn't a man bringing her down. Because I remember the Bible and the Quran saying that man is the maintainer of woman. And the Bible puts it as God is the head of man. Man is the head of woman. Woman is the head of child. So if there was a Mary Magdalene and she was no good, then what man participated in bringing her down? We are black women in America. But our morals have slipped. But as my father said last week, that if the man did not slip, the woman would not have fallen. Black man, you are the head. You are the father. You are the original man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, and you're God of the universe. But we have fallen from our spiritual kingdom. And the only way you can get back to that spiritual kingdom is that you must submit your will to do the will of God. There is no easy way out. You will never be made whole again unless God is at the head of your dome. You will never have power and dominion over the earth, over the creeping, crawling things that He gave you. If you don't submit your will to do the will of God, you want righteous women, but you don't want to be a righteous man. You want to put the burden of faith and belief on her. As long as she believes and she practices what God says for her to practice, then you are comfortable with her being holier than thou, but that's for her. But you have a different agenda. You have a different agenda. And that agenda is not to be a righteous man. You have fallen with the slave master, practicing every evil on the planet. Falling from your spiritual dome. But you want righteous women. That's very hypocritical of you to charge your wife for being less than what she should be, and you are not even striving to be what you should be. God made you in His image and in His likeness. That means you have the power too to say be, and it is. He was not a stingy father. weakness. He gave you the same power that he had. You can't access God's power unless you return to God. This woman he gave you for your helpmeet, that you are to be the maintainer of and the head of. She's a spiritual woman. She is a spiritual woman. That's why they gravitate to the churches, because they're looking for a strong man. God put that in her. So you can't command of her foolishness if you are not willing to turn your life around. As soon as you get correct, she'll get correct. Not vice versa. We've turned into everything but the image of God. We want to sell drugs. We want to pimp women. We want to do everything other than that which is right. But we don't mind her marching on to the church. Yeah, baby, you go ahead. You stay, you do that. But when she comes home, when you come home, who is she dealing with? After she's been in church all day, now she's got to see Satan walk through the door. We're talking about families that break up. Why do families break up? Because there's somebody in that family that doesn't want to do right. It's not difficult. It's not a rocket scientist formula. The laws and the rules and the commandments are in the books. All we have to do is follow them. But you can't hang with the wrong people thinking you're going to find your way to God. If they're practicing all kind of foolishness and evil and everything that God says thou shalt not do, you are hanging with a person that does all of that and then some. Feeding yourself immorality. This is a spiritual woman that God has given to you. And now, brothers, you have to rise to the occasion to take back your families. And I mean, take it back just the way I said it. I want to read you something, sisters, because just like slavery was a plan, so wasn't our present condition to be a plan. They never intended for this black man to ever rule again when they brought him to the shores of America. See, a lot of people want to think that Muslims are racist. We're not racist, we're just telling it like it is. We're giving you the facts. And you can go research it for yourself. This is a scientist. The white man is a scientist that we are dealing with. So, if he's a scientist, he had a plan when he brought you to America. I want to read you something. It's called Breaking the Black woman, or the African woman. It says, take the female, run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. Test her in every way because she is the most important factor for good economics. If she shows any sign of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract that last bit of B out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so you spoil good economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of a subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking process of a female nigger. We have reversed the relationships. In her natural uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male, and she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring, and would raise the female offspring to be dependent like her. Nature had provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling one civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. By her being left alone unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reversed roles. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent but physically strong. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offsprings to be psychologically independent. What have you got? You've got the nigger woman out front and the man behind and scared. This is a perfect situation for sound sleep and economics. I did not write this book. This is from Willie Lynch, who was a slave owner and was teaching other slave owners how to control the slaves and how to break them. And the process is still going on. Who's working? The female. Is she out in the front? Who's at home? The male. What happens when the female is out there working? Your femininity starts to leave you, doesn't it? Because now I'm the breadwinner. You the man, you don't make no money. So you'll hear your woman say, I pay the cost to be the boss. You can't tell me nothing because I make more money than you. This is beating you down more. Who provides the jobs for black people? The slave master. He can decide who's going to work and who's not going to work. So he's chosen the black woman to work, but we think we have arrived. Somehow we have misinterpreted that. We think because we got the jobs and we the money, we all that. It's a false sense of power. choice. They've been grooming you for over 400 years. If the white man needed something, who had to go ask for it? The black woman. You better not send John, because John is going to come back empty-handed. Send me your woman if you need something. Let her represent the family. And who is representing the family today? Black women. Even when you are bad and down on your luck, you can't even go and get assistance, public assistance, unless the man is out of the house. You got to go paw mouthing and say you don't have a man in your house in order for Uncle Sam to give you a little bit of money. Am I telling the truth? What is that? That's breaking the family down even further. Now the black man, he goes and he tries to go out and get a job. Some of them got more degrees than you have. You with no degree can come back with a job. He can't come back with nothing. I want to show this to you sisters so that we can relook and rethink our choices, because we are being plotted on. So we're throwing away good men because we think that they don't have the ability or the intelligence to make what we make. If the white man would give them the job, you would see something in your man. But he's not to make him a man. When he brought him to the shores, he gave them the name boy. He called him boy. How can someone always call you boy if he never expected you to be a man? He knew he was not going to give you anything to make cannot bow to foolishness once we have supreme wisdom. So there's always going to be a house full of confusion if one is submitting herself to God and the other one is still out there playing in Satan's world. You have a great future, but you got to want it. There's been a lot of money spent in keeping the black man down. This woman here is your right war, trying to get your woman back. But the key, the minister already told us last week, connect yourself with the Creator. Align yourself with God. And if you align yourself with God, then you'll get her back. She is made for you. She has suffered with you in America. She was there at the tree when you were being lynched in Georgia. It was her tears and her cry that you heard when you were being destroyed. She was there in the holes of the ship with you. This black woman, she was there beside you, taking the whiplash, just like you was taking the whiplash. She was there on the farms, picking the cotton with you. She knows your pain. She knows what they did to you. So I dare you go and find another woman. After this woman went through it too, how painful was it for us to watch you be stripped of your manhood? And how painful is it now that when we look out, we don't see righteous men. We see destroyed black men. And it is our prayer every day that God restore you, because we're tired of being manless. And the real fact is, we don't want no other man. We want the black man. I know you are the man for me, because God made you my mate. How can I trust that he knew what he was doing when he made the heavens and the earth? He made the bees and the birds. He made the flowers and the trees. But when it gets to you, I doubt. We have been destroyed for the lack of knowledge. But if we enter, or let God enter back into ourselves, male and female. It looks like nothing happened to your woman, but trust me, anytime you go through role reversal, you know what it takes? If you were made to be one thing and someone turns you into something else, then we got to work doubly hard to try to be that feminine side that you've been looking for, but we've been made so masculine because we've been out in the forefront because they wouldn't let you get in the front. Even if you had wisdom and knowledge, they didn't put you in the front. So by him having a grip on the woman, he had a grip on you. And that's why I say, sisters, we cannot be bamboozled like we making some real success because we bringing home this big paycheck. At what expense? The expense of your family. See, you're the base. When someone dismantles the base, they can come in and conquer. See, God had you on that base, sister. And you were supposed to be that strong foundation on that base. So the white man says, no, I'm going to take her off that base, pull her out into the world. Then she going to leave the base unguarded. And then I can get in there and do the work with the children. So now while you out there making these six figures, your children are taking drugs, having babies, learning about sex. Now you got to get your son out of jail. You got to spend money for counseling because all kind of crazy stuff is going on while you left your base for the dollars. So they're working on us. And that's why the minister is talking about family and hold on to your family. Stop divorcing. Start counseling. See if you can save it. See if you can save your family. That is the first base, is family. As long as they can keep us disconnected and divorcing, we can never build a nation. Family comes first. Then comes the nation. You are a powerful man that they would want to do this to you to keep you down. But I don't want you to get comfortable in being down. It's time to get up. You got to get up. The women are tired now. We are tired. But we could become re-energized if we see you taking the challenge. In 1995, at the Million Man March, I'd like to read some things to you, brothers, that you said. That you said under oath to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I pledge that from this day forward, I will strive to love my brother as I love myself. I, say your name is what he would say. From this day forward, will strive to improve myself spiritually, morally, mentally, socially, politically, and economically. economically for the benefit of myself, my family, and my people. I, say your name, pledge that I will strive to build business, build houses, build hospitals, build factories, and enter into international trade for the good of myself, my family, and my people. I pledge that from this day forward, I will never raise my hand with a knife or a gun to beat, cut, or shoot any member of my family or any human being except in self-defense. I, say your name, pledge from this day forward, I will never abuse my wife by striking her, disrespecting her, for she is the mother of my children and the producer of my future. I, say your name, pledge that from this day forward, I will never engage in the abuse of children, little boys or little girls for sexual gratification. For I will let them grow in peace to be strong men and women for the future of our people. I will never again use the B word to describe any female, but particularly my own black sister. I, say your name, pledge from this day forward that I will not poison my body with drugs or that which is destructive to my health and my well-being. I pledge for this day forward, I will support black newspapers, black radio, black television. I will support black artists who clean up their acts to show respect for themselves and respect for their people and respect for the ears of the human family. I will do all of this, so help me God. I just wanted to read that to remind the black man what he had pledged. In our book says, my word is bond, and bond is life, and I will give my life before my word shall fail. We have to be found doing what we pledged. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when he devised this pledge, it was laying the base for family structure and also a civilizing force that would allow you to be received well in international government, in other parts of the world. You can't start with them first and your home base is not in order. So he's saying, get on your home base. Get your wife back. If you've been having a girlfriend for 20 years and you don't know if you're going to marry her, give me a break. You're tearing down your family structure when you can have a female bearing your children, but you won't give her your name. What kind of madness? She's good enough to lay down in pain and suffering. Carried a baby for 9 months. Had a beautiful shape. When you met her. Now that she's carrying your child, her body has taken all kind of 8 figures. Is that not love? You know how you men feel when you got muscles and you want to see how strong your muscle is, and I got this all together. Let somebody throw 15 to 20 pounds of fat on you in 9 months. Talking about that's love. So her body becomes disfigured, it looks like, because she's carrying your seed. She's carrying your life. But yet, she's still not good enough for her to carry your name. We have to go back, brothers and sisters, and get our lives together. Stop lending ourselves to foolishness. If you have been with a man for 20 years or 15 or 5, however many, and have bore him children, and he don't think that you are good enough to wear his name, he might not be the brother for you. You have children for a man who loves you, who when you do get, when you are pregnant with his seed, he has the highest of respect for you. He'll tell you, no, honey, don't pick that up. Sit down, let me rub your feet. I see your feet are swollen. They know how to do that, and they know how. Ask the other sister. Your word has to be bond. You can't act like the slave master's son or boy, running in and out of house with no responsibility. That has to stop. And we've had a teacher in our midst. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was in our midst for over 40. Now the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's in our midst for over 50. And we still don't know. And that's why chastisement must come. He couldn't be with you today for a reason. See, God will take one from among you when he sees that you are toying and playing with his servant and no longer hear the message. He has done his job in the teaching of the black man and black woman of America. He has stood up for us when we couldn't stand for ourselves. He has fought the good fight. He has put on the whole armor of God. And he has gone into battle for the black man and the black woman of this country. because he's my father. But I see Allah and the Spirit of God from his little toe to the top of his head. And that man practices what he preaches. Who could better tell you than a daughter who has watched him? I am not saying he is not without error, but my Bible tells me, and my Quran, that there is none perfect but God. And the Quran also states that he is perfect enough for you. Let's not get it twisted. You must realize that the time is upon us. All of us will feel grieved or will feel bad when Allah will take this man one day. But we're going to feel even worse if we were too cowardice to practice what he taught. Islam in the West, the nation of Islam, shall never fall again. And what makes that a reality is that those of us who say that we believe in it, and it is good for us and for our people, that we will be willing to pick up his cross and be willing to be ridiculed and scorned for his name's sake. And that's how Islam will never die again. But if we're too weak and too cowardice to practice what we know what is right and fearing no one but God, then it will go back to the earth as dust. But he has made many sons and daughters that are my brothers and sisters in the faith. He has made me beautiful sisters and beautiful brothers, and many who are not even in the nation, but they believe in what they have heard from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. His life is a sign for us that, black man, you have no excuse for remaining where you are and doing nothing. He didn't know his father, just as many of you did not know or do not know your father. So, where does he get his strength? Who is teaching him to be a man? The word is very transforming. You just got to pick it up. It will transform you. And I just want to say this one last thing, and I'm going to close. We are the children of God. Yet Allah, or God, brings us through vessels. Some of the vessels that he has chosen us to come through those vessels because something was wrong with it, or you start criticizing the vessel that God brought you through. Not realizing that God had a plan for you because you could not be today if he didn't say be, and here you are. He knew you were coming, and he knew what vessel he was bringing you through. So whether mommy is a drug addict, whether mommy is a prostitute, whether mommy died and you never got a chance to know her, whether daddy is locked up in jail, whether you never met your father, the Creator says, I am your father. I am your father. In me, there is no imperfection. So if you're looking for an example, look at me. Well, how can I see you, God? How can I find you? Pick up my through an imperfect vessel. But at some point, you must walk alone and you must find my face. So I don't care if I brought you through a vessel and the vessel is a drug addict. You had to come that way, daughter. You had to come that way, son. Why, God? Because I have something for your life. But you won't know what it is until you seek my face. I will tell you why your path was rocky and why your road was rough. Because you, child, I have a special mission for you. That you have to come out of these kind of vessels so I can use you in a special way. Our world is full of people who have had the same experiences or similar experiences in life. And they're in the wilderness. But if you seek God's face and he touches your heart and you become connected with your Creator, now you can go after the raped woman. You can go after the drug addict. You can go after all the ills of the world. Because God got a testimony in every last one of you. That there's nothing that will happen to you in your life that if you're connected to him, you can't overcome. So he brings you through trials and circumstances. So don't look at mama and say, I'm never going to grow up to be nothing. Don't look at daddy and say, I'm never going to grow up to be nothing because this is the vessel that I come from. No, I am your father. I am God. I created you. And I say be, and here you are. You remember that when you are striving to do what is right. Remember that he is the perfect one. And that's where you should keep your eyes on the Creator. And you will overcome any of the forces in your life that you thought were too massive or too difficult. I thank Allah for your presence today.